What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more Surviving with Thaumcraft 5. And today, guys, we're going to be working with Essentia Distillation, which I think is going to be really awesome. It's going to help us a lot in the future when we're working with infusions, and it's pretty much the next big step that we can take when it comes to alchemy. So there is a lot of research that we're going to be doing today in the Thaumonomicon, and we do have to do a little bit of it on camera, but it shouldn't be that hard. We're going to be working all the way up to, I believe, pretty much just regular Essentia tubes and advanced Essentia tubes today, and then we'll finish up the rest of it, which is a lot nicer, the Essentia transfusions, next episode. But today we're just going to be covering the basics on it. So I've already done the research for Nidor and Alumentum, so we can just throw those in here. You guys can pause the video real quick if you want to see these. They're really simple. The ones that we're going to be working on later do become pretty complicated, where you're matching, 4 of the base aspects together, and it's pretty crazy, but these are pretty easy. So that one was for the Nidor, this one is for the Alumentum, and now we can learn both of these. We're going to be making some Alumentum to actually fuel the Essentia smeltery. So learn both of these, and we can go in here and we can take a look at them. So we're going to be looking at Alumentum today. Now, it's a substance that throbs with fiery energy. Essentially, you can throw it, it'll make a small explosion. So, don't be throwing it around all over the place and wasting it. But you can also actually use it to fuel when we're trying to turn things into Essentia. So we're going to be using the Essentia smeltery, which is what we're going to be researching right here. So we're going to be researching this, and we're also going to have to make some Alumentum. But I guess we can cover this research first. So I said we're going to have to do this a little bit on camera. It's actually not that bad. We are going to be doing, I guess for this one, we can start from the Aqua to the Fabrico. So we're going to be doing Mortis, which is going to go right here. Then Perdicio, which is going to go right here. And then we're going to be doing Permutatio, which is going to go right here. And then we need to connect Aqua and Ignis, which is again going to be another Mortis, which is going to go right here. We're going to need another Perdicio right here. And then the next one, I actually forget how to make. So let's go back here, over here. And, okay, so it's Ignis and Perdicio. We're looking for Chilm. So Ignis and Perdicio. So there we go. Chilm, and we are done. See, not too painful to do the research on camera once I've already gone through and figured out what I need to do for it. But there we go. So now we have the Essentia Distillation, which is awesome. So you automatically get warded jars and labels, and this is where we're going to store the Essentia that we get. So these are really easy to make. They're just going to take some stained or some regular glass. It doesn't need to be stained. And these are going to be able to store the different Essentia that we get. They're each going to be specific to one aspect. You can label them, which we're going to look at in a second, which you can use these blank labels for. But because we have the goggles of revealing, we can easily just look at it and see. You can also see the color on it, but if you were worried about being confused, the goggles will help us out with that. Now we can get void jars by using 3 experience levels, but I'm going to wait to get those because we're not actually going to use them yet. I don't have the stuff needed to craft them, but these will essentially prevent there from being a backup when you're working with Essentia, because these do fill up eventually, and then a void jar would just allow that to just kind of dissipate and go away. So next, we're going to work on the Essentia tubes. We don't need to do research for these. We just purchase it with 3 experience levels. Nice and easy, and we have 9 left. Okay, so then we have the advanced Essentia tubes, which I don't believe we're going to be using today, but we're going to research these with 3 experience levels too. And then the rest of this stuff is actually going to be researching with legitimate research, but we're not going to be using the crystallization today, the centrifuge, any of that. There are ways to improve this. Do not worry. It's not going to be as rough as it actually is today, but what we're doing today is pretty much just a very roughed out basic idea of it. And like I said, next episode, we're going to get up to the Essentia transfusion. And this is aerial Essentia, which means we're going to be able to have the smeltery over in a certain area, and then it will transport without needing any of the tubes, pipes, whatever you want to call them, over to the warded jars, which is going to be really nice because you're going to notice today that the tubing, piping, they're called tubes, but it's pretty much piping, is really obnoxious. So what we need to do first is make the Essentia smeltery, which is not too bad. I already made some brass, which we can turn into plates. All we need to do is make another crucible, which is just the same thing we did before with this crucible. So I got a lot of stuff in my inventory for what we're going to be crafting today. I probably should move this. Oh, wait, no. You know what? We can use this bench. I forgot. I'm still in rotary craft mode, forgetting that we can actually use this bench. So we need the cauldron. We need to throw it down, turn it in that, and then we're going to get this out and... What? Can we not use it on this? Oh, shift click on that. Come on. There we go. Awesome. So we have the crucible now, and all we need to do, I think, is make a furnace, right? Yes, we just need a furnace, and then we should have the V needed to make this. Okay, so furnace, and we do need to make the brass plates. And we will be using these later, so don't worry, you're not going to be wasting any of it. So circle around here, and crucible up here. You do need a little bit, 26.25, and there's the Essentia smeltery. So we're going to put that down right over here. It doesn't look too fancy right now, but in here is pretty much going to be like a furnace. You're going to put the stuff in the top that you want to have turned into the different Essentia. So this one would give possibly 1 Perdicio and 1 Terra. Doesn't always give that, but it could. You have the internal buffer on the left here. The fuel is going to go down here, and that's pretty much that. There's it's like a timer, I believe, on the right just to show you how long it's taking to cook, as far as I'm aware. We'll get into that later, though. So what we need to do now is make some alumentum, because that's what we're going to use as fuel. I believe it is 4 times more effective than coal. I believe you can still use coal, but you might as well make alumentum. It's going to take Ignis, Perdicio, and Potentia. And the funny thing is, you actually get 2 of these for Potentia and Ignis from coal. So you're throwing in coal along with some extra stuff. And we're going to make a couple of these. We really don't need that many. So yeah, you can see you get 2 from each piece of coal. So you're pretty much just going to chuck some cobblestone in there. We're going to get a little bit extra, which is a little annoying, but we can throw this in there, and then we can throw some coal in there, and it should start popping it out for us. So, yep, you can see it pops one out there for us, and we can just keep flipping back and forth between these. There we go. And, oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. So we'll leave it at this for now. That's just going to dissipate. That was really sloppy, but it's because I'm doing it on camera. Normally you'd want to be a little bit more careful because this is going to turn into flux, which is not good, but we will worry about that later. I know there's a lot of bad stuff that can happen around here with flux, but I will plant some silverwood trees. I believe those do help with flux in the area. You need the ones with the aura nodes inside them, though, as far as I'm aware. So we will look into that in the future. I don't think we'll have too many issues just yet, but you can see it going into the air. And we are going to get some flux coming from the Essentia smeltery, which is kind of unfortunate. If we look in here, I believe it should say the percentage. Converted into flux roughly 20% of the time, so not super great. But the next step is to make an arcane alembic, which is pretty important. It's what we're going to put on top of this, and I actually haven't read the description on this, but it's essentially, it will be drawn into the alembic and from the smeltery, and that's where it's going to be separated out, and that's where you're going to pipe it from. You can't actually pipe it from the smeltery itself. You can put multiple alembics on top, but it does make piping a little bit more annoying. So today we're going to work with 1 alembic. So, okay, so we got rid of that water. Screw it. We'll just get rid of it all at once. Make all the bad stuff happen at once. Okay, so now we're going to need some warded jars. I guess we can make the warded jars really quickly first. We're only going to make like 3 or 4 for today. I was cooking down some glass because we're going to need some. And I do have some wood in our inventory. So what am I doing in here? We need to go over here. We need to make a couple of the slabs. And, oh, you know what? I need to turn these into some panes first. And, oh, that's only going to make us 2. Darn. Okay, let's make another set of these. We'll make 2, because we're going to need a lot of these eventually. We're going to want to have one for all the different aspects. I don't know why I just did that, but 4 should be good for now. Okay, so we got 4. Eventually, we'll upgrade them into the void jars, void warded jars. But we're going to put these down. I guess we can throw them. How do I want to put them? Like, we're going to put them out 1, I guess. No, we can keep them here. We can keep them here. Yeah. Okay, so we'll keep them like this. And I don't know if we can have one right here too. Okay, so we're going to put them right here. These eventually will get filled. So now what we need to do is make the arcane alembic, which I kind of skipped over there. So we need the Essentia filter. We need some great wood planks, some more brass, and a bucket. So I do want to keep the bucket we have right now. So we are just going to make another bucket. We have brass plates, but we do need one more. Okay, there. And, you know, let's just search it up in here. That's not specific enough. Okay, so alembic. Get up the arcane alembic. The great wood planks will be easy. I did go cut down some great wood trees. I didn't cut down nearly even a single tree. So now we have the Essentia filters, which is going to require gold and a silver wood plank, and I only have this, so we're only going to be making 2 for the time being. We need to put the silver wood in there, and silver wood planks. I did go and find some silver wood. Ooh, we need to recharge this. We can just use this one then. Okay, so we got the Essentia filters, and that means we can make 1 arcane alembic, which is all we're going to need for now. So brass plates, and where are they? Great wood. So we got 1 arcane alembic, and this will just get thrown down. Oh, we're out of inventory room. This will get thrown down right on top of here. You got to shift click, and that is what it looks like. So this is where we're going to be piping this stuff out of. Now the way that we're going to do it today is probably just mine these blocks back here and pipe it back here. And you'll see the reason in a second. I told you the piping is weird. Tubing, piping, again, whatever you want to call it. But right now what we want to look up are going to be the tubes. So you have the filtered Essentia tubes, you have regular Essentia tubes, restricted, and directional. We're just going to be going with the plain ones today. We're going to eventually go straight from these plain ones all the way up to just transporting the Essentia through the air, because there's really no point, in my opinion, in going through these. I've heard that Thaumcraft 5 makes these worse to use, so it is a little unfortunate, but it's pretty easy to make them. We have the glass. We just need to make some quicksilver drops. These are really easy to get if you smelt down cinnabar, or if you do end up finding the silverwood trees, there are some plants that spawn around them. I believe they spawn around silverwood trees only, but you can get quicksilver from those too by just putting them into a crafting table. So pretty easy to get, and just need to make some gold nuggets. Luckily we have 1 piece of gold left. I do need to go do some mining after this, mainly mine for iron, but we should just be able to shift click this in there, and we're only going to need, we'll make 2 sets for now. I don't think we're gonna have enough inventory room for this because of the quicksilver now, but yeah, this is gonna be an issue. I do need to go move some of this coal. I have a lot of coal in here right now. Pretty much just went on a run for iron and coal before this, and then did some tree chopping, but we're gonna put the pipes, tubes over here. Let me know what you guys want me to call them, because really I keep wanting to call them pipes, but they're really tubes. So we're going to throw these over here, and you can see it hooks on, and you throw down. If we were to throw one down here, it does not connect to this, so you do need at least 1 alembic. So we can mine this, and we can throw them back here like this. Okay, so these are going to be able to transport, it's going to be able to transport essentially 1 aspect at a time, 1 thing of Essentia. So if we were to throw in there, let's say cobblestone, and we were getting terra and perdicio, it would be only 1 would go in this alembic. We'd need more if we wanted to have 1 in each. It can only store 1 kind. You can make buffers, you can't have multiple alembics, all that stuff, but for now we're only going to be getting 1 in this, and then it's going to be able to pipe 1 out at a time, and these water jars will suck things into them. So pretty much if we were to hook one of these up, if we were to hook this one up right here like this, and we do want to disconnect this on this side right here, you can just right click with a wand to disconnect it. But right now, if we were to throw in here, let's say, okay, so paper, I believe that's called cognito, but we would get cognito, Essentia, and then it would go right into this warded jar. But if we were to then after that throw in, let's say, some cobblestone, and we got some perdicio, and then we hooked up this warded jar right here, it would not be able to pull it into this warded jar because this one is already trying to suck out cognito. So it's a little complicated, which is why we are going to be making some of these valve. So it's valve right here. So Essentia valve. Now this is going to work just like a tube, but you're going to be able to right click on it and switch it from being open to closed, which will stop the suction and allow for these tubes back here to transport other Essentia through them, which is going to be great. So it does require us to manually do stuff, which we're eventually going to get past, but we do have to do that for the time being. So we need to go make some levers, which should be relatively easy. I got the wood on me already, and we can make 4 of them. It's going to be just enough. So we got the 4 levers, and then we just throw in the Essentia tubes, and we get the valves out. Super easy, and I'm going to pull this back out and throw this one back in there because this one's recharged. Nice thing about not having to actually have it out to have it recharge. But we're going to click these on here, and then we're going to disconnect them from each other. Oh, you know what? We need to be careful with that. I should Shift F, get that off there. But we can right click, and there we go. So we have these valves, and I believe they start, I want to say they start open. We'll be able to tell very quickly, but what we can do now, and you can see, you can right click and they close. Oh yeah, okay, so they start open because you can see it screws in. So that's open right now. Now it's closed. So be sure to look at it from the side to tell if it's open or closed. But what we want to do is we can close all of these, leave this one open, and I want to throw something in there that's going to be giving us 2 different types of Essentia. So we can throw cobblestone in there to start things out, and we go down here, we throw down the alumentum in there, and we throw in the cobblestone, and you can see this is kind of like a timer, and you can see that we are getting Terra in here. You can see now that we've got the Terra in there, and we've got the Perdicio in there. So what we can do is, and this does have a buffer if you're curious what the purple thing on the side is, but what we can do is close this, and it's got some cool steam effects, and open this, and now it's going to fill up with the Perdicio, which is going to come out of here. Not the fastest thing in the world, but once that comes out, then you can see it's giving us more Perdicio. We're not always getting it from each one. We're not getting every possible aspect from each one, but it's just something to keep in mind. And then if we were to close this, you could see it'll keep it there. And if we were to open it again, you can see we're getting a lot of flux going out from this. But if we were to open this again, you can keep seeing that, and we don't, oh, it does make funny noises, by the way, but you don't need to actually have a label on it because you can look at it with these goggles and it will show us. I believe if we were to take these off, we wouldn't be able, yeah, we can't see it without the goggles. So the goggles are very nice to have. But yeah, we only got 1 Terra from that, which is unfortunate. But you can see that this alumentum is able to cook down a ton. It does start slowing down because it's not able to transport things out fast enough, which is a little unfortunate, but we will eventually fix that too with the research next episode, which is going to be actually the next one we get to, which is going to be the improved Essentia Distillation. And this is just going to increase the speed at which it's able to pull it out. So now, okay, so now the Perdicio has stopped and we are filling up with Terra, which means we need to close this and open this, and this will start filling up again. So it is a little bit manual, but it is pretty awesome that we can actually store these. And then if we were to start using infusions, it would be able to pull from these warded jars because it's going to need to use the different essentia that we're collecting, similar to when we're over here and we need to use some of the V from the wand. So it's pretty much the same thing. If you open up things that require infusion, so if we were to look at, I know the new Thaumium armor is going to require the Metallum, the Praemunio, I don't know, and Potentia. This would be able to be sucked from these warded jars, which is awesome. It's got some really cool animations and all that. And it looks like things are done, and it's slowly just draining the last portions of this out, filling this up. And if we were to throw something else in there, it would be able to do the same thing. We just have to use these warded jars. So hopefully you guys learned something today. I know this is a little bit rough to start out. It is kind of annoying. Typically, you would just want to, I think, research all the way through to the aerial transportation of, all the essentia. It is a lot easier to use that, but I want to cover this in case you guys don't feel like going all the way through this tree to get to the aerial essentia, but we will get to that next episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. If you found it informative or entertaining in any way, feel free to give it a like, as it does help me out a lot, and I will talk to you guys later.